Teen Compass, empowering teens to navigate life with confidence. You know how it is, right?
Yeah.
1 minute you've got some cash in your pocket,
Yeah.
maybe from like your allowance or a birthday gift or something,
Yeah.
and then suddenly it's gone. Poof, vanished. And you're like,
Yeah.
where did it go? Like, I swear I just had like $5,
Right.
and it's usually spent on like
Oh, you know.
random stuff,
Yeah.
snacks, or like that new game everyone's talking
Oh,
about.
yeah. Or online shopping.
Totally.
It's so easy to just click, buy these days.
It really is. So today on this deep dive, we are talking about exactly that.
Love it.
Why does your money seem to disappear? But more importantly, what can you actually do about it?
Great question.
Our mission today is to help you
Yes.
take control of your finances
It's powerful.
so you know exactly where your money's going and you can start working towards your goals. Sound good?
Sounds fantastic. I mean, that feeling of your money disappearing is something so many of us experience, right?
Right.
But the solution might be simpler than you think.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's not some magic trick or anything.
Okay.
It boils down to one very practical skill: budgeting.
Budgeting. Okay. I can already hear some of you out there
I know what you mean.
thinking, ugh, budgeting. That sounds kind of like a grown-up
You're
thing.
roaring and...
Exactly, boring, like taxes and stuff.
Exactly.
But let's reframe that for a sec. Budgeting doesn't have to be scary. It's really just about making a plan for your money.
I love that. A plan for your money.
Yeah, it's deciding where each dollar is going to go before you spend it.
That's key before you spend it.
Yes, whether that's for the things you want now or things you're saving up for or even giving some away.
All those things.
It's like creating a roadmap.
Oh, I like that.
So your money actually takes you where you want to go. What do you think?
I love that analogy. Instead of just watching your money disappear, a budget gives you control and direction. And it's not just about avoiding that empty wallet feeling either. It's about building good habits for your future.
Totally. And speaking of good habits and the future, Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5 tells us, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." What jumps out at you from that verse, especially thinking about teens and spending?
You know, it reminds me that being thoughtful and planning ahead, like with a budget, can really pay off. Like the opposite of that hasty thing.
Right.
Being hasty, like that's when you end up without what you really need or want.
It totally makes me think about those impulse buys.
Oh, yeah.
Like you see something, it looks cool, you just grab it
Right.
without thinking. And then later you're like, why did I do that? I could have saved that money for something way better. Like those little hasty decisions can really add up.
100%. And I bet some of our listeners are thinking, well,
That-
budgeting's for adults.
Yeah.
You know, adults with like bills and mortgages.
Right. But actually learning to budget now,
Yes.
even with like a smaller income.
Yes. Even with the
Done.
small amount can save you from so much stress and financial headaches down the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like learning to ride a bike with training wheels before you hit the open road.
I love that. And one of the best things about budgeting as a teenager is it helps you avoid that like super frustrating moment
Oh, tell me about it.
when you realize you're totally out of money, but there's something you really want to do or buy. Have you ever been there?
Oh, all the time. Especially when I was younger. Like
Yeah.
I'd be so excited for this new video game to come out. I'd be like, I'm saving up for this.
Right.
But then I'd blow all my money on like snacks and little in-app purchases.
That's the worst.
And then when the game finally came out, I didn't have enough. And I was so bummed.
If only you had a budget.
Seriously, if only. A budget really helps you make those smarter spending choices because you've already thought about what's most important to you.
Exactly. You're planning ahead and making sure your spending lines up with your goals.
Right. And it's not just about avoiding regret. Budgeting is also a fantastic way to develop self-control. Oh, self-control. That's a big one.
Huge. When you have a budget, you naturally start thinking before you buy something.
It's like having a built-in pause button for your spending.
Exactly. You start asking yourself, do I really need this right now? Does this fit into my plan?
And speaking of self-control, there's this great verse, Proverbs chapter 25, verse 28.
Ooh, I like this one.
It says, "A person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls."
Ooh, that's powerful imagery.
Isn't it? When you think about that in terms of your money, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like without self-control, your finances are unprotected. Anything could come in and just take your money. And I think it's so cool how these ancient proverbs can still speak to our lives today.
Yes, totally. And budgeting isn't just about saying no to things.
Right.
It actually helps you say yes to bigger dreams.
Okay, like that.
Think about something you're saving up for. Maybe a new phone or concert tickets or contributing towards a car.
Yes, or even a trip.
A trip, exactly.
Instead of your money just disappearing on little things.
Yeah, right, things you don't even remember later.
You can actually set aside money for those big goals that are really important to you.
It's about making those long-term desires a priority.
So budgeting helps you avoid the small regrets and helps you achieve the big wins. I love it.
And another big benefit, especially these days, is that budgeting can really reduce stress.
Oh, stress. Teens have enough of that already.
I know, right? But when you know where your money's going, you don't have that constant worry of running out or feeling unprepared. It just brings peace of mind.
That makes sense. But I bet some teens would be wondering,
What's that?
does having a budget mean you can't have any fun?
It's a great question.
Like, does it feel restrictive?
Yeah, I hear that. But I think it's about reframing what a budget is.
Okay, how so?
It's not about restriction. It's about being intentional with your money.
Okay, I like that.
When you decide where your money's going beforehand, you can even plan for fun.
That's a good point.
So you have money set aside for entertainment or whatever you enjoy, and you don't have to feel guilty about spending it.
Because it's already in the plan.
Exactly.
Okay, so budgeting sounds helpful.
It really is.
But how do you actually get started? Like, where do you even begin?
Well, don't worry. It's not as complicated as it might seem.
Okay, good.
The first step is to track your income.
So figure out where your money is coming from.
Yeah. Think about all the different ways money comes to you.
Yeah.
Maybe you get an allowance, or you have a part-time job. Maybe you get gifts for your birthday or holidays.
Yes, or some teens do odd jobs.
Oh, yeah, like babysitting.
Yeah, or tutoring, or even like selling stuff online.
There are so many ways to earn money these days.
It's true.
Write all those down, every source.
And I bet some teens might be surprised
Totally.
when they add up all those smaller amounts.
Right, those little things can really make a difference.
They can. Okay, so step 1, know where your money comes from. What's next?
Step 2 is to list out your expenses.
Ooh, so like where is your money actually going?
Exactly. This step might seem a little tedious at first.
Yeah.
But it can be eye-opening.
It's amazing how much you learn when you actually write it down. Like I remember the first time I tried tracking my spending.
Yeah.
I was shocked by how much I was spending on just like random snacks and drinks.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the week. It didn't feel like much in the moment.
Right.
But when I added it all up, it's like, whoa.
It adds up fast. So for this step, write down everything.
Like what kind of things?
Every single thing you spend money on.
Okay.
That snack you got after school, your monthly subscriptions for music or video games, new clothes, transportation costs, anything you spend money on. Keep a record of it all.
And how do you suggest people keep track?
Well, there are tons of ways to do it.
Yeah.
You can use a budgeting app on your phone.
Right.
Or a simple spreadsheet, or even just a notebook.
Like whatever works for you. Okay. So we know where our money's coming from.
Yeah.
And we know where it's going.
Check.
What's the next step? How do we actually start budgeting?
All right, step 3 is where we divide the money wisely.
Okay, I'm right.
The super helpful guideline is the 50-30-20 rule.
50-30-20. Okay, break that down for us.
All right, so the first 50% is usually for your needs.
Needs. Okay. So like the essentials.
Exactly. The things you absolutely have to spend money on.
So what counts as a need for a teenager?
Well, it could be things like transportation costs to get to school or work, school supplies,
Makes sense.
personal care items, maybe even contributing to household expenses if that's something your family does.
Right. So basically it's the stuff you need to like function.
Exactly.
Yep.
The basics.
Got it. Okay, so that's 50%. What about the next 30%?
That 30% is for your wants.
Ooh, now we're talking.
This is the fun money.
Yes, bring on the fun.
This is for things like entertainment, going to the movies, buying new clothes that aren't essential, upgrading your gaming setup, eating out, all that good stuff.
So the things that make life more enjoyable but aren't like absolutely necessary.
Exactly. And then that leaves us with the final 20%.
Okay, 20% left. Where does that go?
This is for savings and giving.
Ooh, saving and giving. Tell us more.
So this is where you set aside money for those bigger future goals we talked about.
Right, like a new phone or a car or a trip.
Exactly. And it also includes the really important aspect of giving.
Giving back, that's awesome.
Whether that's contributing to your church or supporting a cause you care about.
That's great. Planning for the future and blessing others.
It's a great combination.
And, this idea of planning your finances actually goes way back.
Oh, I bet it does.
Like in Luke chapter 14, verse 28.
Okay.
Jesus says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it?
That's interesting.
He's talking about the importance of thinking ahead and planning.
Right.
And that definitely applies to your money, too.
It's like a timeless principle.
It really is. Okay, so we've got our 50-30-20 rule.
Yep.
But as we wrap up,
Yeah.
what are some common budgeting mistakes that teens might make? Like things to watch out for?
Oh, for sure. One of the biggest ones is spending first and then trying to save whatever's left over.
Oh, yeah. I used to be guilty of that.
So many people do it.
And guess how much was usually left over?
Not much, I'm guessing.
0. Nothing. It was like, oh, well, maybe next month.
Right. So the trick is to flip that around, make saving a priority.
So instead of spending first.
You save first.
Okay, got it.
Decide how much you want to save.
Like that 20% we talked about.
Exactly. And put that money aside as soon as you get it.
Then you can spend the rest based on your budget.
That's the idea.
So it's like paying yourself first.
I love that. Pay yourself first. What other mistakes come to mind?
What about those small purchases? Like, do those really matter?
Oh, they totally matter. Another common mistake is not tracking those tiny things.
It's easy to forget about them.
It really is. Like $1 here, $2 there.
Doesn't feel like much at the time.
Right. But it adds up.
I'm telling you, when you actually track it, it can be kind of scary how quickly those little expenses add up.
It's true. So the key here is to track everything.
No matter how small.
Exactly. Even if it seems insignificant.
So you get a really accurate picture of your spending.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, so we've got save first and track everything. What else?
What about actually sticking to the plan?
Oh, that's huge. The final mistake is creating a budget, but then not actually following it.
It's like making a New Year's resolution.
Right.
And then by February,
it's gone.
It's totally out of your mind.
Yeah.
So how do you actually stay on track?
Well, a budget only works if you use it.
Okay.
It's like having a map, but never looking at it to see if you're going the right way.
Right.
So the trick is to review your budget regularly, see how you're doing, check if you're sticking to your plan, and make adjustments as needed. Because life changes, your needs change, so your budget should be flexible too.
So it's not set in stone.
Exactly.
It can evolve with you.
Totally.
As we wrap up this deep dive on budgeting,
Yes.
I want to emphasize that a budget isn't about restricting your life.
Right.
It's actually about giving you more freedom. Freedom to spend intentionally on things you value. Freedom to save for your dreams, and even freedom to honor God with your finances.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And the sooner you learn these skills, the more confident and prepared you'll be to handle your money. It's like Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters.
That's such a good reminder.
Managing your money wisely is part of being a good steward of what you've been given.
So here's my final thought for you today.
I'm listening.
Are you ready to take control of your money?
Great question.
We challenge you to start creating a simple budget today. Even just tracking your income and expenses can be a huge step.
I agree.
And I think you'll be surprised at how much more confident and responsible you'll feel.
It's about empowering yourself to make good decisions and build a strong foundation for your future.
I love it. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive here on Teen Compass.
This is great.
If you found this information helpful, we would love for you to like it.
Yes.
Share it with a friend.
Spread the word.
And subscribe to Teen Compass so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next time.